A number of scary events happen in our world today. However, seeing them happen in hospitals and morgues makes them even more terrifying. These events happen with no logical explanation, therefore leaving witnesses confused. Fortunately, some of these phenomena were captured on camera, but watching them unfold is enough to send shivers down your spine. Now we've gathered some of these clips for you to see. Join us as we explore the 10 scariest things captured in morgues and hospitals. Number 10. Evil woman speaking with demonic raspy voice. Several patients lose their voices temporarily due to one ailment or another, but this does not seem to be the case. Jonathan visited his sick girlfriend in a Parisian hospital when he saw a woman talking in a raspy voice. He recalled that the woman in the next bed was screaming and roaring with a voice that was likened to a demonic spirit. In the video, you see the woman lying in bed but maintaining a devilish voice. The video, made by Jonathan, captured some of her statements as she kept troubling the couple and harassing them. She called them ugly and tacky people and said that they would all die. When you look closely, you can only see the woman lying in bed and her mouth isn't moving. The only noticeable phenomenon is her chest movements as it rises and falls while she insults the couple in an angry way. She threatened the couple further, telling them that she would call upon her mafia friend, and she then says that she would begin to remove the IV drip that was injected into her arm so they could get out of the hospital. At this point, the video ends, but that leaves us at a crossroads, wondering if the woman tried to escape. Thankfully, Jonathan supplied all the information even after the clip ended. Jonathan would provide further details in the attachment of the video, saying, "I was no longer filming when she started to get up and wanted to take the life of a person sitting next to her. 5 nurses came to stop her, and we were asked to leave the room quickly." Jonathan was shocked at the whole incident, as he was a person that rarely believed in demonic possessions or anything related. However, now that he's witnessed one with his own eyes, it sent enough shivers down his spine to make him believe that demonic possessions are real. Ghost slamming door in morgue. Having to work in a place that's full of dead bodies is one thing, but witnessing strange things caused by the spirits of these bodies, well, that can be mind-blowing. We've researched and found out that some spirits have different auras. These spirits might be disturbing, while some can be good and gentle. Regardless, having to encounter a spirit is highly not recommended, but these security guards in a Brazilian morgue had no choice. The guards had to stand up to their fears as they came across a spirit in the morgue. Moving down the hallway, the guards went there to find the cause of a particular noise coming from the area, and upon getting there, they saw that the noise was from a red door that seemed to be opening and slamming shut. With each step the security guards took towards the door, the slamming seemed to double. The security guards kept walking, and as they got close to an area of 12 to 15 feet from the red door, it mysteriously stopped. A few moments later, the light comes back on, and the guards proceed to check out the door to know what went wrong. The door houses the pipes that supply the water to the morgue in case of an emergency. And as the guards continued to examine the door to know what went wrong, they heard another loud bang. This time, the slam came from another door on their left, and the guards then went to the door and checked, but nothing was spotted in the room that could have caused the loud bang. Dumbfounded by the entire situation, one guard even goes down the hallway to check a door to see if it's locked, and it is. So, if that door was locked and nobody was in sight, who or what was slamming the doors and causing the lights to flicker? Number 8. The haunted stretcher. This incident occurred at a hospital in India, and in the video, the security camera captures a human figure detected around a couple of stretchers in the courtyard. A few seconds into the video, one of the stretchers is seen moving slightly forward and moved close to its actual position. Moments later, the stretcher moved about 10 feet forward and the same distance backward. The stretcher does this continuously for almost 2 minutes before rolling off the platform's edge where it once stood and falling to its side. What invisible force was pushing a stretcher until it fell? It's hard to say. However, that was not the only incident that occurred with a mysterious moving stretcher. On the premises of the same hospital, from another camera angle, there were stretchers outside as usual, and the security camera caught a man moving towards a dispenser to get water in a bottle. In this clip, we can see the stretcher move forward a bit, which the man notices. Having seen the stretcher's movements, he goes towards it so as to set it back in place. As the man moved closer to the stretcher, it rolled further away, which left the man confused about what had just happened. The startled man then steps back from the stretcher, picks up the bottle, and leaves the area quickly. It's better to be safe than sorry. 7. Shadow figure moves in hospital. It's quite amazing to see that a number of these captures are taken by CCTV cameras, while they're not usually installed for the purposes of detecting paranormal activity. Still though, more captures are made by these cameras, just like the clip I'll be explaining now. This footage comes from inside of an Indian hospital, and in the clip there are people whose loved ones were in the health institution sleeping in the hallway. Down the hallway is an entrance to the hospital's morgue, and all seemed peaceful until suddenly a black figure appears strangely out of nowhere. This figure took the shape of a man and began to walk down the hall, making its way toward the sleeping people. Within seconds, the entity suddenly kicks off with great speed, flying past the sleeping people in the hallway and out of the camera's visibility reach. Could the black figure be a ghost? Perhaps a soul that belongs to one of the bodies kept in the morgue? No one can say for sure, but it is terrifying. Number 6. Ghost chairs. The incidents about these ghost chairs are quite knee-weakening, as they happened in 2 different hospitals. The first video would be taken by a security camera at 3 o'clock in the morning, and at this time, silence abounded in the hospital as patients were sleeping and not much activity was happening. It was this way until a mysterious phenomena occurred in one of the hospital's rooms. To begin with, a poster on the wall suddenly rips itself off, followed by one of the chairs in the room. The chair moved mysteriously like there was an entity dragging it violently until it hits the wall, but as the security camera records, nobody was in the room at the moment. Almost immediately, the drawers that contained some files and documents were pulled open violently. A similar incident happened in another hospital in Chile during the middle of the night. The nurses in the hospital heard noises coming from one particular room, and this particular noise alerted them since they were aware that there was no one in there. When they went back to check the security cameras, they saw the most shocking thing that they had ever seen in their lives. In the video, you can see a chair suddenly move to the other side and stay there for a few moments. All of a sudden, the IV stand also moves. It was a very scary footage for the entire staff of nurses because they were well aware that there was nobody in the room. So what was pushing the chair around in that manner if nobody was there? There's still no logical explanation for that phenomenon. In this video, the footage you're watching was taken in Honduras by a man visiting the hospital, and as he pointed his camera toward the end of the hallway, several stretchers were seen, so it was a hospital setting. All seemed to be well and good in the health institution until the most bizarre incident happened. All of a sudden, a strange flash is seen at the entrance of a door on the right. This flash was attributed to a strange figure as it was captured on the camera moving in and out of the doorway, as if checking to see if the coast was clear before moving out completely into the hall. The man recording the video became startled by the figure, which appeared to be floating down the hall. It appeared to take the shape of a man, and due to this, several people have the narrative that it is the soul of a particular doctor who once worked at the health institution and then committed suicide on the hospital grounds for unknown reasons. Petrified at what he had witnessed with his camera still in his hands, the man took a few steps back to examine the situation from afar by hiding behind a door. I would also recommend running, as nobody would love to wait and see what happens with a spirit. But what do you think? The man captured with his camera. Do you think it's the doctor's spirit as alleged by people? Or maybe it was something else? Number 4. Unknown spirit in ambulance. This hospital, and in the video you can see an ambulance parked there and waiting, with a staff member perhaps picking up or dropping off something in the vehicle. Nothing seems to be out of the ordinary even after the staff leaves the ambulance. However, the door of the ambulance was left open. Within a few seconds later, the door mysteriously closes on its own, and there was no one in sight. Could it have been the wind? Well, maybe. Passerbys didn't seem to notice this occurrence, as some people passed by the vehicle and didn't see anything strange. This was because the incident happened a few moments before they both passed beside the vehicle. It's presumed that there was no one inside of the ambulance when the door shut suddenly, and some may think that would have happened due to strong wind, but that's not a valid explanation for this strange occurrence. There were no signs of strong wind and pressure visible from other parts of the environment captured by the camera. Now, you might have thought that you'd seen it all, but if you look closely through the window and into the ambulance, you can see that there are movements made by a figure inside of the vehicle, and suddenly the door begins to open again. Could it have been the soul of one of the patients who just died? Or was it someone who had once worked there as a driver in the hospital? It still leaves us confused, as there's no actual explanation for what the security camera captured, other than the fact that most ambulances carry a staff of 2 people, but what do I really know? Weird figure seen in hospital ruins. This video by a cameraman amongst a group of people who decided to explore an abandoned hospital. As they made progress through the hospital, the person yielding the camera was the last in the group's line. In the process of making a video and taking shots, he felt a chill run down his spine. This chill or feeling is synonymous with all humans, as it's what we feel when we're being followed or even watched. It's been a feeling that's imbibed in humans from the time we were hunted by beasts several centuries ago. Being the last of the group, he had this feeling, which prompted him to turn and see if anything was behind him. He made this turn with the camera capturing his back view, but did not see anything. Or so he thought. When he later checked the video coverage, he saw the greatest shock of his entire life. When he checked the video, the cameraman saw that there was a ghostly figure captured by the camera, which he had not noticed when he turned back. This sighting made the rest of the group doubt if one of them was behind them, but the cameraman insisted that he always ensured to be the last of the group to get perfect video coverage. This means that if he was the last person, the hallway is meant to be empty. Instead, the camera caught a glimpse of this thin, eerie figure you're looking at presently. If the cameraman was the last person on the line of adventures, who was that figure? Could it have been the soul of a patient that had passed away in the hospital? And why was it lurking around the people? Number 1. Ghost floating on movie set. This footage would be taken from the set of Postcards, a 2008 Pasadena City College student film. It was uploaded on YouTube by Trevor Heasley in August of 2016 after discovering paranormal activity in one of the images. The footage would be taken alongside the film shoot, which was done at the Metropolitan State Mental Hospital, and during the filming process in this hospital, the cast and crew that were present for the film heard strange noises and had weird experiences while they were there, but didn't see anything responsible and usual. This simply made them assume that it was probably some old pipes settling or metal clanging, and that was what they thought until Trevor got back home and decided to review the videos that he had recorded while on set. In the footage that was recorded, the state mental hospital looked spooky to begin with. Darkened windows glorified the entire building despite being a hot summer day. As the footage progressed further, it showed several areas and locations within the hospital, and the camera also captured some good times on the shoot, but nothing prepared them for what the camera was about to see. As the crew began to film a particular scene, a vapor-thin figure suddenly appears. This figure appeared to walk across the hallway just as the crew began to film at that moment. In the scene, 2 cast members were completely oblivious of what was in front of them and ran through the hallway, also in front of the camera. The figure can be seen floating across just before the cast passes through. But what could this floating figure have been? Could it have been the true spirit of a patient? Or perhaps the spirit of what was once an actor or actress, but also wanted to be featured in the scene? Nobody has an exact explanation for sure, but how about you? What do you think? Let me know all about it in the comments section down below.